Hi everyone, Big Boss here with 3000 math problems of the Demidovich exercise book. Number 14 in this case is asking us to identify the domain of the following function, y equals 2 plus x minus x squared. There we go. Pretty easy one, pretty simple one, and what we're going to do is refer to our table of functions. It's not a constant, not a linear. It's definitely a polynomial function. It has arrangement of variables and coefficients, which means the domain is all the real numbers. All the real numbers. Polynomial functions have no restrictions at all. They exist all across the board. Therefore, the domain of this function is all the real numbers. However, this is not the real function the exercise has. In reality, it's square root of 2 plus x minus x squared. So it's not a constant, not linear, not polynomial, not division. It's a radical function with an even index in the square root. So that means that we have a restriction because we have to guarantee that in this case, the inside of the root, that is 2 plus x minus x squared, must be greater or equal than 0. Remember, once again, there are no square roots of negative numbers. The inside of this function, therefore, has to be positive, the argument of the square root. So we have to solve an equation of 2 plus x minus x squared being greater or equal than 0. Once we do that, we will know where is the domain of existence of the function. So to solve this, let's just move this all to the right side of the equation. I don't like having negative x's in the resolution of an equation. Let's just put the 0 on the other side as well. So again, negative sign on x squared greater exponent. Let's just move it to the other side. Therefore, 0 goes to the left, and everything else goes to the right. So 0 is going to be greater or equal than positive x squared now minus x minus 2. All we did was just fix things, arrange things again. So now we're going to do is just flip this because I want the x to be on the left part. But we're going to take into account the operator, the greater or equal. So that has going to flip too. Therefore, x squared minus x minus 2 is going to be, now flipping the operator, smaller, less great than 0. There we go. All of this are equivalent, okay? These are just rearrangements of the original equation. This equation right here is equivalent. It is absolutely the same to the original equation, which was 2 plus x minus x squared. And remember that had to be greater or equal than 0. So therefore, since they are equivalent, since they are the same thing, they're going to have the same factors. And since they're equivalent and they're going to have the same factors, therefore, they're going to have the same solution. So if we solve one, in this case, x squared minus x minus 2, less or greater equal than 0, we're going to be able to solve the other one. They're the exact same thing. The one on the left is easier to solve. So we're going to move forward with that one. Let's factorize, therefore, to do our first step. We can't solve it as it is. We just have to factorize to be able to come up with the resolution of the problem in a more efficient way. Therefore, we have, as in factorizing the polynomial that we have, x squared minus x minus 2. Coefficient is 1. Coefficient here is minus 1. And coefficient here is minus 2. A, B, C of our quadratic equation. Therefore, our quadratic resolution, ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, it's going to associate each one to a coefficient in the equation. And I'm sorry, here is minus 1. Sorry for that mistake. So a equals 1, b equals -1, and c equals -2. Those are our coefficients of this quadratic equation. And now we're going to use the quadratic formula, which is minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over or divided by 2a. Now all we have to do is replace the coefficients that we have highlighted on top in the quadratic formula. Therefore, minus 1, which is b, plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, which means 4 times 1 times -2, divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. Here's b, here's b, here's a, here's c, and here's a. We just replaced the coefficients in the resolution of the quadratic formula. Therefore, -1 square, -1 times -1, I'm sorry, is 1. -1 squared is 1. -4 times 4 times 1 times 2. I'm sorry, -2, sorry about that again, is going to be -4 times -1 times -2 is plus 8 square root, and 2 times 1 is 2. So we just solve here a little bit of a math. And now we have to go to the next step. This is going to be equivalent to 1 plus 8, 9, of course. So we're going to be left with 1 plus minus square root of 9 divided by 2. Therefore, again, a little bit of more math. Square root of 9 is 3. So it's going to be 1 plus minus 3 divided by 2. Therefore, we're going to have here our two solutions. The first one is 1 plus 3 divided by 2. 1 plus the 4 divided by 2, 2. And the other one is 1 minus 3 divided by 2. 1 minus 3 minus 2 divided by 2 minus 1. These two elements right here are our factors. These two are the factors of the equation. So we just make a note of that. Factors of x squared minus x minus 2. And now we can rewrite the original equation as in its factors. So we had x squared minus x minus 2 less great than equal than 0. Now with its factors written, it's going to be x minus 2 multiplying factor x plus 1 less great than equal than 0. These two are the same, exact same. I'm just rewriting the equation with its factors. Why? Because now we have to study its sign. To verify that they're their factors is just pretty simple, just to make sure that you didn't make a mistake. Just plug in the factors into the equation and they should become equal to 0. So that's what a factor is. If we do 2, it's pretty simple. So it's going to be 2 square minus 2 minus 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 2, 2 minus 2, 0. So 2 is a factor, it's right. And the other one is minus 1 square minus 1. Plug it in and then minus 2. So then we have minus 1 squared is 1. Minus times minus 1 is plus 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So again, we didn't make a mistake. They're good. They're both their factors. 2 plugged into here and 1 plugged into here. Minus 1, I'm sorry. Now that we did that, we move forward. And here's our equation. X minus 2 times x plus 1 less great equal than 0. And now we have to do the study of the signs. When is this expression less great equal than 0? Which means when is the expression negative? So the expression is going to be negative when the whole factors are negative, because we have two factors. Okay, so we separate the factors and we have the multiplication of them at the bottom. And we put the factors on top, minus 1 and 2. So when is x minus 2 positive? When is it negative? When is it 0? Well, x minus 2 is 0 when we do the factor 2. Anything that is left to it is going to be negative, because if we were to put minus 1, minus 2, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 2, minus 6, and so forth. And anything to the right of it is going to be positive, because if we put 3, 3 minus 2, 1, 4, 4 minus 2, 2, and so forth. And the other one, x plus 1 is 0 and minus 1, and anything to the left of it is going to be negative, and anything to the right of it is going to be positive. If we were to put 3, 4, 5, it's just going to be positive. And then the multiplication of it, well, we just multiply the factors that we have on top of it. We just multiply both factors because that's what we want to find out. So minus times minus is positive, 0 times minus 0, minus times plus is minus, 0, positive, positive. And which one do we have to choose to get our answer? Well, the operator is less great. It's negative. So we have to choose the negative as an answer because that's what we're looking for. When is the expression negative? When does it have a negative sign? Therefore, we choose the negative sign solution. If it was positive, then we would choose a positive. So note, remember that, because you may ask, hold on, boss, wait a second. Weren't we looking for when the inside of the root was positive? Yes, absolutely, correct. But remember that we're solving an equivalent form of the equation. So x squared minus x minus 2 is equivalent to 2 plus x minus x squared, which was the original equation. Okay? This being negative, this one on the left side being negative, here is the same thing as this one on the right side being positive. They are equivalent, as we did before. So keep that in mind. That's why we're choosing the negative solution in this case. Therefore, let's make a note on it. The solution to the problem is the interval contained between minus 1 and 2. Including both numbers because it's less great equal. Okay? That is our solution to the problem. That is the domain of the function. Again, we used an equivalent solution. So that's why we went for the negative. But it's exactly the same thing if we were to solve the positive one. We just simplified to have an easier solution. Therefore, the domain of the original function is the x's that belong to the closed interval minus 1 to closed. That is our solution to the exercise. And if you want to make sure that you did it right and that you didn't do any mistakes, you can just try plugging in values that belong to that interval. Try plugging in x equal 1/2. Try plugging in minus 1/2. Try even an easier one, 0. Try 1. All these values are part of this solution interval. So we can try with, for instance, in the original function, y equals square root of 2 plus x minus x squared. Let's do f of 0. 0 belongs to the interval solution, so let's try that. And if we were to do that, we just plug in 0 into the function and we have square root of 2. It's a number. It exists. It's right. It's part of the real numbers, so it's good. And if we were to put 1, that is also part of the interval solution, which is domain of the function, well, we have 2 plus 1 minus 1 square root of 2. Same thing. Square root of 2 exists, and so forth. And same thing you can do with 1/2 or minus 1/2, whatever. You can plug values that are part of the solution, and the solution should work. If you want to plug in a value that is not part of the solution, like 3 or 4 or minus 4, do it, and you will find out that you won't have existence. Why? Because you will have a square root of a negative number. Thank you. See you on the next one. Big Boss out.